I have read that anyone who is not a Muslim is forbidden paradise and will go to hell forever. How can people of other faiths who have devoted their lives to study, worship, practice their respective religions, living their life by similar principles to Islam, with their concept of good and evil, an ultimate respect of life and the wonders of this earth? For example, someone like Mother Teresa, how is it possible that they can go to hell? In China, the questioner said, there are 1.3 billion human beings. The religion that they follow is either Confucianism or Taoism. Are these people all going to hell? Why did God not send prophets and messengers to them? What could a person ever do to deserve such a punishment? What could a person do to deserve such wrath, such destruction, such anger, such humiliation? What makes something good and what makes something evil? Slobodan Milosevic. He is a wanted war criminal for raping, murdering, and massacring Muslims. Yet until today, amongst the Serbs, I have seen pictures of Slobodan Milosevic with a halo and wings like an angel. A halo, which is a sign of a holy person, and wings like an angel. They think he is a hero, a man who is responsible for raping and murdering and torturing thousands of human beings. One person's definition of a good person is another person's definition of an evil person. This is the problem. And then who defines what is good? You see, you will find most people, they have an idea. Everybody has an idea of what they think is good and what they think is evil, what they think is right and what they think is wrong, what they imagine is the right way to behave and what they imagine is the wrong way to behave. Everybody has these ideas, but the question is this: where do they get these ideas from? Who told them this is good and this is evil, this is right and this is wrong, this is the right way to behave and this is the wrong way to behave? Most people, they just follow the pattern of their society. If you imagine the behavior or the morals or the characteristics of society is defined within a certain area, a certain parameter, most people make sure they fit inside that circle or area or parameter. If anyone goes outside that parameter, that's when people start applying labels to them, like, oh, that's a religious person, or that's an extreme person, because they fall outside the parameter of what is normal in society. But it's very interesting, for example, if you study the history of Buddhism in India, of course, I'm sure you know that Buddhism originated in India. Isn't that true? Yes? So Buddha originally was an Indian prince. But his teaching contradicted Vedism, or the Vedic teachings, the caste system. Buddha was against the caste system. He did not believe that salvation in this life depended upon belonging to a caste and following the caste system and worshipping various gods. He had a different idea in which he believed everybody was equal. This opposed the prevailing religion here in India. The Brahmins, for example, they believed that goodness meant following the rituals. They had set rituals, the worships of the gods, and strict adherence to the caste system, So you proved your goodness by being a good member of your caste. Their whole idea of what is goodness and virtue was contradicted by the teachings of Buddha, as he had a different idea of what constituted goodness and virtue. So who is good? Which one is good? Which one is the right one and which one is the wrong one? The reason why Buddhism, you will not find it in India today, is because the kings supported the Vedic religion and slaughtered the Buddhists. They literally slaughtered them, invaded their monasteries and slaughtered them en masse until there were none left or they fled. This is how they dealt with it. Is this good? Maybe it is good in the eyes of the people following that religion. I don't think it's good in the eyes of the Buddhist, or probably it's not good in the eyes of most of us. So what makes a good person? What makes a person good? One of the important things, of course, is your intention. What is your intention? By what and for what do you intend to do something? In Islam, of course, something is good only when it is intended for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. In order for an action to be acceptable to Allah, the first condition is it has to be done sincerely and purely for the pleasure of Allah, hoping for Allah's reward, His paradise, and fearing Allah's punishment. Mostly what we call secular humanists, they say, oh, that is not a good reason to do good deeds, because you're afraid of the hellfire, because you want paradise. Surely the reason you should do good deeds is through altruism. You should just do it because it's good. And they propagate this idea of the benefit of altruistic behavior. I myself do not believe there is such a thing as altruism, doing something without any benefit. Because even these people who do good deeds, don't you think that when they do a good deed, they get some feeling of satisfaction? You know, I did a good deed, I feel a bit good about myself. Certainly they do. That means they are satisfying themselves. They want to feel inside themselves satisfied. That means they, in fact, make themselves the center of the universe. They themselves make themselves the center of the universe. This is actually psychologically more likely to breed arrogance and pride. Is that a good characteristic, to be arrogant? Is that a good characteristic, to be proud? I don't think so. Whereas a Muslim, we do things purely and sincerely for the pleasure of Allah. In fact, there may be some things that Allah tells us to do it, even though we don't like it. And Allah tells us to leave something, even though we like it. It is not an issue whether I imagine it is going to make me feel good or not. For the Muslim, the purpose is only pleasing Allah, only pleasing the Lord of all the creation. So our intention has to be correct. But is that enough? Is it enough for the intention to be correct in order for the deed to be good? No. The deed also has to be correct, meaning the deed has to be done according to the Sharia, according to the law that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us in the Quran and in the example of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So we need these two things, pure intention and the action must be correct. It is only when these two things come together, the deed is considered to be a good deed. If my intention is pure, but my action is not correct, it's not done according to Islam, it's not done according to the Sunnah, Allah will not accept it. If the action is correct and done according to the Sunnah and the Sharia, but I do it to show off, I do it to impress people, then the action is not accepted. It has to be both sincere and correct. And there is one other thing, very important. The deed has to be done with Iman, true faith. True faith is the basis of everything in Islam. If our belief concerning Allah is not correct, if our faith is not correct, if we are worshipping something or someone along with Allah, then our deeds will be useless, our deeds will be futile, our deeds will be vain.